of Miriam Makeba.
Were you hoping, can I ask you this, Class, were you hoping that the South African team would have been more on the offensive rather than on the defensive?
Yes, we are a state, we are a nation, we've got president.
Okay, and do you think
another president talking to our president, a man-to-man with the delegation, and they must, in fact, tell Trump. Trump is a human being.
Okay, can I ask you, how do you think a strategy based on the offensive would have worked in that room?
There wouldn't be offensive. We are telling the truth. Was Trump offensive when he displayed Julius Malema there in the rally, campaigning rally?
And you don't think that would have deteriorated the moment into a screaming and shouting match that would have resulted in what Zelensky had experienced?
No. It was not going to be like that. The environment was totally different. It was not one-on-one. There was a delegation. Others asked by him.
No, Zelensky was there with the delegation as well. He wasn't there by himself.
Yes, but some particular individuals were asked by Trump to come there because they are his friends. That is why they were there. So the environment, he came with, Cyril Ramaphosa came with businesses. And then there was this opportunity for a union leader who was supposed to represent workers in a true sense of the word, because he is a leader of the workers.
Okay, so just the last question I want to ask you. Just the last question I want to ask you. When Zingiswa Losi started her commentary, the first thing she said was, there are 600 businesses in American businesses in South Africa. They employ over 500,000 South Africans. We want to protect the jobs of those 500,000 South Africans. This is why we think it's important to reset relations between South Africa and the U.S. Do you not think that comment was in the interest of the 500,000 workers she was talking about?
How do you know that those people will be retrenched? That is why I said when I started, on a neoliberal point of view, yes, Zingiswa Losi spoke very well, but on behalf of the workers and the working class, Zingiswa was out of line.
Okay.
So he didn't represent the workers.
Thank you very much for your call, Class. Really do appreciate it. 086 000 2032. Give me a call. Let's have a listen at this WhatsApp voice note.
Good morning, Oliver and SFM listeners. I hear people complaining that Ramaphosa is not a leader. Ramaphosa is useless. Ramaphosa is a leader. Ramaphosa averted a scenario like Zimbabwe. Mugabe kept on his terms. Yes, there's previous economic imbalances, but at the end of the day, we need to think that people need work. Imagine there's 600 companies operated by Americans. If they disinvest in South Africa, this is going to be a same scenario like Zimbabwe. So Ramaphosa, I give him a thumbs up. Ramaphosa is a leader. He is very clever. He averted that situation in Zim.
Thank you very much. Give me a call, 086 000 2032. It's 9:30. Let's take your latest news headlines with Ann Musa.
Good morning. Thanks, Oliver. In the headlines, 2 Eastern Cape healthcare workers have been shot dead in Lusikisiki last night. According to reports, the couple was stationed at St. Elizabeth Hospital. The details about the incident is still sketchy at this point. The EFF says it's proud of its legislative and political agenda that has shaken the corridors of imperialism in Washington. The party's comments come after the much-anticipated meeting between President Cyril Ramaphosa and the US President Donald Trump at the White House. And Labour analyst Mujalifa Musi has described the latest budget as regressive and has lamented the hike in fuel levy, which he says will have a negative impact on workers. I'll have details on these and other stories at 10.
#SFM Talking Point.
It is just after 9:30. We are doing the open line. Give me a call, 086 000 2032. Class, we lost you earlier. You're back on the line. Hopefully the line holds this time around. Go for it.
Yes, man. Morning. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
I'm okay, man. Yes. Coming to the issue, I'm a president, man. It's a problem to be a president to Yakana. Because before the guys by go USA, it was a problem to say no. Mr. Donald Trump is not going to welcome them. He's going to do this, that, and that. So then now again, things it looks like it's better than the way they was thinking. Now they are looking the weak point from the president. I think the president is the right person who choose that cabinet to go with them there. So those people there, if they are doing the right, yes, I understand the way they are saying John Steenhuisen, what, Rupert, what. Yes, all those things, the way I understand, the president choose that cabinet to go with them there, to go and impress that side, South Africa from USA. So now, always I hear the people, they were talking, president, he didn't do right, this, that, and that. He didn't do it right. Now I don't understand why can't we appreciate Mr. Ramaphosa is doing well for South Africa.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks, Klaas. Interesting point. Appreciate that. Klaas, who is calling us on the road there. Rudzani in Kempton Park, good morning.
Morning, Oliver. We have got a lot of things to talk about, but I was dying to call and mention this. Last week I've heard you talking to Mike in Newlands, and I was very happy. You know, you corrected him 3 times when he was talking about wrong stats, and that is what he does every day. He phone without fail in SAFM and come up with some stats just to disapprove the work that South Africans are doing. So thank you very much for that, because you said he was talking about the unemployment stats. He quoted wrong numbers. You corrected him. He came back with some funny stuff. You corrected him. So I'm saying other people must learn from what you have done to say. He must not just talk and then people keep quiet even if he's talking wrong things. I was dying to phone that day, but I couldn't go through. But I was happy that eventually it happened. Thank you very much for that. But not to waste your time, when we come to, the composition of the delegation that went to USA, I was going to mention that people are saying Ramaphosa has taken a lot of white people, but they don't even know why other people were there. So even on that one, thank you that you clarified. Lastly, I think our president has handled that meeting very well. Myself, I was very anxious and I was not even sure what is going to happen. But there is still South Africans who think like Malema as if yesterday it was supposed to be a meeting wherein South Africa is showing a whole world, including USA, that we don't care. Yesterday was not about maybe Losi to go there and Toy. It was about going there, giving confidence to the USA. It is only for USA to decide, not for us to go there and try to be this big a guy who cannot take any nonsense from USA or whatever. So I'm happy with the delegation. I'm disappointed with Steenhuisen. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Really appreciate that. 086-000-2032. You know, I maybe want to make one more comment before I go to the next call. And Jabula, I'm going to be calling. I'm taking your call. I think what we saw there on display was the full complexity of South Africa. We are a country with a difficult history, and we're a country that exists in a complex democracy. And I think what you saw there was exactly that complexity on display. So yes, a lot of us are not happy with how Retief Goosen and to an extent Ernie Els played into Donald Trump's narrative of a white genocide and a targeted persecution of white farmers in South Africa. I think they misread the moment and they could have done a lot better. We're also not particularly happy with how John Steenhuisen missed the moment to utter the words, "I am the Minister of Agriculture and I can tell you now that there is no white genocide and no killing of white farmers targeted specifically and deliberately for them. We have a crime problem that affects all South Africans, including black farmers." Those were the words John Steenhuisen had to utter, and he missed the opportunity. But that's the complexity of South Africa, right? Think about it. We're a country that, because none of those people were telling lies. Retief Goosen was merely telling and sharing his perspective and his experience based on what he understands and knows about the country in his small little cocoon. So has Ernie Els. That's the reality they know because that's the world they exist in. So we can't say they lied. right? And we have to accept that South Africa is a complex country. I would imagine if you are the CEO of Tourism South Africa, and just last week I spoke to the Chief Marketing Officer of Tourism South Africa on the show. If you, the Minister of Tourism in South Africa, you would have cringed at how the story that was being told, even by the South African delegation, is how South Africa is a crime-fested country, right? That's not the story we want the world to know about us. But the reality is that is our truth. We are a crime-ridden country. We are a murderous country. We've got one of the highest murder rates in the world, and we can't pretend it does not exist. And part of why Zingiswa was so great is that she didn't deny it, she didn't denounce it, she didn't downplay it. She acknowledged it, but she contextualized it. And that, I think, was brilliant. The complexity of South Africa is that we're a country with many great things and many bad things, and it all exists at the same time. And that's, we would have preferred, as my mom always says, Hodi blank and boer, right? You want to present the best of yourself. I think what we presented there was the honesty and truthfulness about South African the South African experience. Njabulo in Durban, good morning.
Whatever. You know what was the most disappointing thing about those white men in that room in the White House is the fact that they failed us because they represent the Rainbow Nation. They came up in a dispensation where we believed and supported in them throughout their sporting careers, and we support and applauded them, and we were with them throughout every step of the way. So we expected a little bit more from the golfers. But that's not what I'm calling to talk about. What I'm calling to talk about is the budget speech. I think, the goalposts have been moved. Yes, they removed the increase on VAT, but they just put it on fuel. The increase in fuel level is probably the most regressive way to go about it, especially when there's so many leakages in the system. You've got infrastructure in Durban that's been sitting and is literally collapsing on the roadside. Go Durban project, which was a couple of billion spent by the government, is at a standstill. And we're now being taxed for fuel levies when we should be working to make sure these leakages are plugged and the system is efficient. It's going to fit the poorest of the poor in the most unthinkable ways. People are going to lose more jobs because it is more expensive to get to work. Why bother getting up when all of your salary is spent on transportation? Food prices are going to rocket up. This is the most regressive way for our finance minister to be actually going about this. Actually, Oliver, it would be great if you could get our MEC of Transport and Human Settlements, Sibonisa Duma, to come through on the show and explain to us why the Durban project has stalled. What happened to all that money? What's going on? Why can't we get our people where they need to go cheaply and efficiently? Because taxi prices are going to increase up. Apparently, it is the taxi kingpins who have stalled the project and refuse to let it go along. And it's the poorest of the poor who will suffer. I have the luxury of parking my car and walking to work, refusing to participate in the tax. I can cycle to work. My wife can sit at home and work from home, but a lot of people don't have those luxuries to challenge this because it needs to be challenged. This is not what our budget is about. It shouldn't be about taxing the poor, and that's who they're taxing, basically.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Really do appreciate it. Interesting views that you have there, Njabulo. Thank you so much for that. Give me a call, 086 000 2032, 086 000 2032. Let's have a listen at this WhatsApp voice note.
Oliver, good morning. John Steenhuisen was just a disappointment because he allowed his hatred for MK and the EFF to get a better of him. In doing that, he wasted a golden opportunity to back President Ramaphosa up as the Minister of Agriculture. He wasted that opportunity. Instead, it was Johan Rupert who stepped in and made his point clear that there is no genocide. Crime affects everyone in this country. And exceptional job also was done by Zingiswa Lusi. In every point that she made it eloquently.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. Let's have a listen at this.
Good morning, Oliver. This is Matebola. Oliver, I think Zingiswa Lusi was listened because she's a woman, and she was the only woman who was given a chance from the other side of our delegates.
My apologies, we've already played that WhatsApp voice. So we're going to take a short break. On the other side of this, Zoe, Junior, and Nhlanhla, I'll be taking your calls next.
We spend a lot of time looking for deals, but we don't invest the same time in our health. Your health buys you more time with the people you love. So who are you staying healthy for, and how can you improve your health? Choose Dickson Life, the life cover that rewards you for living healthier with lower premiums and more cover. Visit discomlife.co.za now. Dickson Life. Choose a better partner for life. Dickson Life is an authorized FSP 50594, underwritten by Guard Risk Life, a licensed life insurer, FSP 76. T's and C's apply.
The land is their legacy, but in season 3 of Yellowstone, that legacy is under fire. Kevin Costner returns as John Dutton, fighting to protect his ranch, his family, and everything that can't be bought. More enemies, deeper betrayal, and the battle for the West, it's only just begun. Yellowstone Season 3. This land was won with blood, and it'll take more to keep it. Saturdays at 9:30. Starts 24 May. Only on S3. Open up.
You are listening to Oliver Dickson on SAFM.
086 000 2032. It's the open line. Give me a call. Zoe in Kongle. Good morning. Good morning. Go for it, Zoe. What's in your mind?
No, not much. I've been holding for too long. I just want to say that I feel happy that you now feel the way you feel now, without all that anxiety that I also had before the Ramaphosa.
Yeah, no, I was nervous. I guess that was a reasonable feeling to have, right?
Yeah, you really were, and I also was. No, the Ramaphosa for me. You are correct in saying that our situation is complex. Our political situation is complex. It's not easy. Look, now I listen to you talking to another guy who wanted those guys to talk about Marikana there. Imagine that kind of thing. It's part of those. We also have immature political bigots within our midst here in South Africa. And then, how dare you put up the South African internal politics in that space? That was not space for that. That is why I'm against this guy, the DA, John Hazen, responded to Trump. You should not have talked about MKs and all that kind of thing there. That was not a space for that. You see? So Ramaphosa, I give him a thumbs up, the Ramaphosa. It was not easy to deal with a right-winger who has been fed with propaganda by other right-wingers.
Yeah.
So imagine those snippets by Malema. How would you have felt if you were fed with a similar coming from the Ku Klux Klan about how they treat black people in the States? You would feel like Trump felt. So it is not easy. If the Ku Klux Klan, you were fed with snippets of the Ku Klux Klan in the States, how they treat black people there, and then you are here at home as Ramaphosa, you definitely feel that, no, these guys are not right in America. That's how Trump feels as a right winger. So for that small space of time, one wouldn't expect that Trump would just give a nod and say, no, you are correct, and change what he is. Even myself, when I listen to Malema, sure, Jesus, this is a deep anger. And then you feel that, yeah, it is true what these chaps are saying, that they are mistreated in South Africa.
Yeah. Interesting. Thanks for that, Zoe. I appreciate it. 086 000 2032. Let's speak to Junior out in Craddock. Junior, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm fantastic, Junior. Go for it.
I'm all right, thank you. I just want to comment a bit about the meeting between President Ramaphosa and Donald Trump. For me, the meeting was very well successful. But one thing that I wanted to say is no one put Donald Trump on his place in a way by to say what he is doing wrong. For example, he's complaining about white farmers that have been killed in South Africa and been taken as refugees in the United States, whereby the time of xenophobia, where we have an African conflicts, there was a group of Africans in Cape Town who were sleeping in the churches, ran away from the community, and then were even looking forward to look for any other country that could take them as refugees, that are real refugees. And then no United States government could say that, okay, let me take them because they've been killed. And it's true that things happened. And then now, at the moment, because it affects, I'm not saying I'm racist, it affects a race or white in a simple way by Julius Malema just say the word of killing the Boer, but it didn't happen. And then it became a big issue, and then it's even saying that you want to collect white South African as refugees, whereby there was African real refugees that were homeless, sleeping in the churches, and then no one could be able. So I just want to ask questions about something like that. How can be explained in that way?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for your call, Junior. Appreciate it. Nhlanhla in KZN, good morning. Seems like Nhlanhla's not there. Sivuyile out in Potchefstroom. Nhlanhla, are you with us? Nhlanhla? Seems like we don't have Nhlanhla. Let's move on to Sivuyile, who's in Potchefstroom. Sivuyile, good morning.
Morning, Dickson. How are you, sir?
I'm fantastic, Sivuyile. Go for it. What's on your mind?
Good. Thanks very much for your indulgence, man. I just want to weigh in on the meeting yesterday at the Oval Office. Yes. Check. The overall presentation of the delegation, particularly that one of the South African, of South Africa, precisely to that one of Agriculture Minister, Mr. John Steenhuisen. I think the minister failed to market South Africa. He failed in such a way that he was at the global stage to ensure that he markets South Africa, particularly on the sector of agriculture. So he failed dismally in a way that he even make aspersion of EFF. I mean, how do you do that as a democratic country? South Africa has a political tolerance. So it's very important that he marketed South Africa at the global stage as a minister of agriculture. On the other hand, I saw the member of AfriForum, I think it's Mr. Gray, what he said yesterday on the national TV. I was actually puzzled by his presentation. I think the man was also at a celebratory mood, because I think he was having some sort of I don't know, should we say it's a beer or what, on the national TV. I think it's becoming clear that he was in the celebratory mood in terms of what has transpired in Oval Office. On the other hand, also, AfriForum must also be charged for treason. It really must be charged for treason. What they have done for South African market and also for the economy of South Africa is an economic sabotage. So it's very important that we deal with that matter, and then NPA seek to at least charge the AfriForum for treason. We must also ask ourselves, how did those documents, the videos, reach the White House office? It's clear that Grail and his organization, they seek to divide the unity of the country. By doing that, how do you also discuss those domestic issues at the foreign land? South Africa is a democracy, and we need to solve our issues here, not on the foreign land. And also, how do you bring about the state actors, including the golf players? Do we need the validation of white people for genocide in South Africa? Why is it South Africa? I mean, the United States takes us on the ICJ to ensure that is there really empirical evidence in terms of the genocide in South Africa. This crime is cut across the society. This is a societal issue. Yes, this is a societal issue.
Okay, thanks a lot for that call. Appreciate your thoughts there, Sivuyile, calling us from Potchefstroom. By the way, I must also say, Trump's response to, I think, a question asked by Clement Manyatela. The question was to the effect of, is your engagement with South Africa contingent on South Africa withdrawing from the ICJ case? And Trump's answer was so staggering that I think it's important for us to note. He said, no, I don't care for it really. There's a case and there's going to be a judgment, and we'll see what the judgment is. If Benjamin Netanyahu ever wanted any evidence that America and Trump has turned their back on Israel, that was it. I think that was a key moment to take note of in that engagement. A positive development in a meaningful way, I would say. Let's take a break. On the other side of this, we continue.
You know, ever since I adopted positive energy-saving behaviors, the National Grid is thanking me. You should also adopt this lifestyle, and your pocket will thank you too. Simply switch off non-essential appliances and lights when they're not in use. Reduce your geyser temperature to 60 degrees Celsius. Replace inefficient lights with LED lights. These are some of the ways you can use electricity wisely to help sustain our energy grid and contribute to a greener planet. Just like every rand counts, every kilowatt counts. Let's use electricity wisely. Eskom.
Hey Feel Good fam, we've got a new WhatsApp number. You know we love hearing from you, so save this: 063 036 9649. Send us your shout-outs, voice notes, or just check in like you always do. Same good vibes, just a fresh new line. That's 063 036 9649. Let's feel good together, weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. on S3.
The Red Devils want to wrap up the season with maximum points at Old Trafford.
Into the box, brilliant, absolutely fantastic. And Mason Mount strikes again. Brilliant stuff from Manchester United.
While the Villains want to conclude their good race with a victory.
Rodgers turns and sees a knee ball into it. Ollie Watkins, and he's touched it home. Ollie Watkins breaks the record. Number 75 for Watkins.
This is the bottom half versus top half Premier League clash. Catch Manchester United FC versus Aston Villa FC on Sunday 25 May at 4:30 p.m. Streaming live on SABC Plus and S3. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
Hashtag SAFM Talking Point.
Let's have a listen at this WhatsApp voice note.
Hi, Oliver. To prove that the meeting between Trump and Ramaphosa is have got more weight than the budget of South Africa, you can see most of the people, they ignore the budget and they are talking about the meeting. And what is more necessary is about the budget. But people take more concern about the meeting between Trump and Ramaphosa. Therefore, it means Trump made a good decision to hold South Africa ransom so that they can prove themselves that they are not a genocidal country.
Fascinating view there. Let's go to Zig in Randburg. Zig, good morning.
Thank you very much. We must not forget that yesterday's developments in Washington took place against the background of South Africa's budget speech, which brought us close to bankruptcy, and with no hope of a recovery in sight, except by the investment which we did not capture in yesterday's meeting in Pretoria. In Washington, we did not capture a future investment confidence with the stuff that was being discussed there. We just keep fighting off the idea of genocide instead of accepting that we need to reform.
Zig, just very quickly, it's important to note that there was a closed-door meeting and a lunch meeting that took place that you and I were not privy to. Last night, very late into the evening, the president gave a briefing giving feedback about what was discussed in those meetings with great detail, and so did Park Starr, the Minister of Trade and Industry and Competition. And there were actually a lot of detailed discussion about investment and the tariff system that is currently applied between South Africa and America. And there were conversations about where some necessary tariff concessions needed to be made. So yes, you and I saw the theatrical stuff, but it's important to note that the investment conversation certainly didn't happen. It happened behind closed doors.
But there's very little chance of anything substantial happening other than Starlink eventually coming to South Africa from Elon Musk.
Just also to let you know, the president told us that Starlink was at no point discussed in the meeting.
No, I could see between the lines that Starlink is certain to come, but it is going to be by exception and not by the rule that we are driving. We're seriously driving away any foreign investment with not only Retief Goosen's continued farm assaults of his brothers and his own 80-year-old mother that was attacked in their homes. And this is going on still. It may not be genocide, but it is not. But that's not the issue. That doesn't have anything to do with the investment. Okay. That we need to get, and we need to get the investment by fighting BEE, black empowerment.
Zig, that didn't come up either, but I can guarantee you there was a lot of discussion about investment. I'm curious about why you think that didn't happen and why you choose to ignore that. But thanks for your call, appreciate it. Mbatane, out in the Eastern Cape, good morning.
Good morning, sir. And I just want to comment on what we saw regarding the Donald Trump team meeting and SA team. Yeah, one thing that I want to dismiss is what the narrative that the team didn't defend Julius, this and that. We must be mindful of why did South African team went to what you call to US. We didn't go there for Julius and his songs. That was not the reason for going there. And I'm very much pleased with the calmness and intelligence of the team. They presented the South African case very well. I'm very much pleased with that, and the manner that they were calm and collected is much appreciated. Most of us were very much worried to say when they get there they will be ridiculed, this and that, but we didn't see that. And with no offense to anybody, handling Mr. Trump and Mr. Malema is a very difficult challenge, given their emotions and the manner that they are attending to issues. It's not a child's play. But the South African team that went there, they did a very good job. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Let's have a listen at this WhatsApp voice note.
Good morning, Oliver and the team. I think the South African delegates did well under the circumstances. So in the negotiation, you give and take. So I would like to believe that they did well. Thank you, PK, Peter Maritzburg.
Thank you very much for that. Really do appreciate it. It brings us to the end of the open line. In the next hour, it is the Municipal Watch. And today we're revisiting a municipal story that was covered on the platform earlier this year. You would recall a listener had called in to complain earlier this year. The name of the listener is Loward, from the Mopani District Municipality. He's a member of Guyani, and he called in to complain about the water crisis there. Kathy had subsequently spoken to on the show Vusi Chauke, the chairperson of the Greater Biro Mashimbi, a community representative from the Mashimbi Royal House, as well as Odas Ngobeni, the spokesperson for the Mopani District Municipality. Well, it's now several months later. Has anything changed? We inquire about that on the other side of this. It is 10 o'clock. Don't go away. And Musa has your latest news bulletin.
In our top stories, Eastern Cape healthcare couple killed in Lusikisiki and Kleinvlei police station targeted in a late-night attack. Good morning. Two Eastern Cape healthcare workers have been shot dead in Lusikisiki last night. According to reports, the couple was stationed at St. Elizabeth Hospital. The details about the incident are still sketchy at this point. The Eastern Cape Health MEC, Ntando Kazikapa, has expressed shock at the incident and called for an investigation into the matter. Provincial Health spokesperson Sizwe Kupelo elaborates.
Health MEC Mr. Nugazi Chaba has expressed her shock following the killing of two health workers who were stationed at St. Elizabeth Hospital in Lusikisiki. The couple was working at the St. Elizabeth Hospital as a professional nurse and another one as a manager responsible for HR. Circumstances surrounding the death of these two employees is not yet known. The MEC has sent her heartfelt condolences to their colleagues and family.
Unknown assailants attacked the Kleinvlei police station near Easterrivier in Cape Town shortly before midnight. They opened fire on the building. Police spokesperson Andre Trout says no one was injured in the attack.
Unidentified assailants opened fire on the building from a chocolate-colored VW Polo. Fortunately, no injuries were reported. The incident resulted only in structural damage to the facility. The case has been handed over to the DPCI for further investigation.
Defence Counsel Charles Mnisi is expected to question lead investigator Bongani Geninda on the alleged communication between singer Kelly Khumalo and one of the Senzo Mehiwa murder accused when the trial resumes this morning. 5 men are on trial for the 2014 murder of the Bafana captain. Mehiwa was shot dead at Khumalo's home in Vosloorus on Gauteng's East Rand. Advocate Mnisi asked Brigadier Geninda if the alleged communication was one of the reasons for his conclusion that Mehiwa was assassinated.
My question is very simple. It does not need expertise. Could it have been one of the factors that was taken into account that the cell phone conversation that was allegedly found to exist between Kelly Khumalo and accused number 5 used as a fact to say that this was actually a contractual assassination?
There was no such question, my lord. We're still busy with that initial question.
No, the state can't say that there was no such a question. We can play the record.
The bail application of a 29-year-old man accused of raping and impregnating an 11-year-old girl is expected to resume at the Boksburg Magistrates Court east of Johannesburg today. The court last week ruled it will only grant the media permission to record audio and not film court proceedings due to a late application. The girl, who's now 4 months pregnant, was allegedly raped by the accused in December last year. Rifilwe Mekwa reports.
The 29-year-old suspect, who's a distant family friend to the victim's family, has been in custody since his arrest last month. The victim's mother found out about the ordeal after noticing her daughter's body changing. The 48-year-old previously revealed that she didn't want the perpetrator to be granted bail, stating the suspect is a flight risk and should remain in custody until the trial begins. The victim's family alleges this is not the first time the accused raped the minor. The alleged abuse started when the young girl was only 6 years old, and then it happened again last December. DNA tests are yet to determine whether the suspect is indeed the perpetrator.
The EFF says it's proud of its legislative and political agenda that has shaken the corridors of imperialism in Washington. The party's comments come after the much-anticipated meeting between President Cyril Ramaphosa and the U.S. President Donald Trump at the White House. Trump played a video of EFF leader Julius Malema chanting "Kill the Boer" at the meeting to bolster his false claim that a genocide is being committed against white farmers in South Africa. EFF National Spokesperson Sinau Tambo.
And they allowed Johan Rupert, who out of nowhere smuggled in some condition that Starlink must be allowed to operate in South Africa in order to help with monitoring of crime. How do we know that it will only monitor crime? How do we know it won't be abused to further the interests of the United States of America, of surveillance in South Africa? So I think that, and as the EFF, we think that this was a complete failure by the entire delegation, and the inclusion of the likes of Johan Rupert, who brought up their personal enmity towards the EFF and its leader Julius Malema since the days of his youth league.
And finally, Labour analyst Mujalifa Musi has described the latest budget as regressive and has lamented the hike in fuel levy, which he says will have a negative impact on workers. Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana announced in his budget speech in Cape Town that from June, the general fuel levy on petrol will increase by 16 cents. Musi says the increase serves as a replacement to the VAT hike that was abandoned and does little to bring relief to workers.
The elimination rather of VAT hike, they replace it with the hike in fuel levy. Now it's really robbing Paul to pay John, right? But if you look at the expenditure of workers, 40% of the workers' earnings are on transport. So if you push up fuel levy, what it means is that you're pushing up transport, you're pushing up food, you're pushing up everything.
Recapping the top story, 2 Eastern Cape healthcare workers have been shot dead in Lusikisiki last night. According to reports, the couple was stationed at St. Elizabeth Hospital. For SAFM News, I am Anne Musa.
Marawai, why did you think you could change your tire when you've never even changed a light bulb successfully? Marawai, why not switch to Santam and get 24/7 roadside assistance to get you moving again? Choose the insurer with cover options that suit your needs. Call 0860 444 444 or SMS cover to 36101. Santam. This is freedom. Santam is an authorized FSP, a licensed non-life insurer and controlling company for its group companies.
This May, SAFM celebrates Africa Month with you as we honor the legacy of the Organization of African Unity. We bring you rich conversations and the vibrant sounds of Africa. Music that moves the soul. This is SAFM.
The Talking Point on SAFM. Weekdays, 9 a.m. till midday.
Eight minutes after 10 o'clock, and you are listening to The Talking Point. My name is Oliver Dickson, standing in this morning. And it's time for the Municipal Watch. Well, in February this year, Kathy had spoken to a listener, Loward, who called in to complain about the water conditions of Giyani, very specifically talking about the borehole situation at play and the related issues. Kathy had subsequently had on the show Oda Sangobeni, the spokesperson of the Mopani District Municipality, Biro Mashimbi, who's a community representative from the Mashimbi Royal House. And at the time, she had a representative from the Greater Giyani Concerns Residents Organization. Today, we once again have a resident from the Greater Giyani Concerned Residents. Vusi Chauke will be joining us along with the other 2 guests who had previously been on the conversation. Has the water situation in Giyani improved significantly since the last time we spoke? It's 9 minutes after 10. We find out.
Municipal Watch, bringing your local issues on the national agenda. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
So in case you missed the conversation and the context about what had happened last time, we want to play you this audio clip just to give you a recap of what the issues were.
What we want as a solution, we want the Giyani municipality to bring back the bowl that they've removed because there's never been stolen. I was there, the engineers removed it in front of me. They must bring it back and make connect to another that is sitting there because that's the problem. When it comes to issue of vandalism, they know very well that they erected that borehole with purpose because the time the vandalism happened, there was no security that been put in place. Understand? And we did go to ESCOM and explain to them that they've been vandalism to find municipality itself they've made illegal connection through the old farm infrastructure that was left by the farmer there. Then they know very well what happened with that line. So they might come now they say the community has vandalized the line. They know very well that that was the plan in the first place to connect electricity illegally, but when ESCOM questioned them, they decided to go and vandalize them themselves because they never have a forced entry in the plant.
You're accusing the municipality of illegal connections, Diro?
Yes, they took the electricity from the old farm infrastructure that was left by the farmer there. We did go to ESCOM as a community to check, to find out that line it was illegally connected. And then when they found out that they are in the boiling water, they decided go to everything that was there.
Is that true, Odas?
It's very difficult to respond to such allegations, Kate. As much as it's also difficult for me to respond to the allegations that the borehole is not working. Because the report that we have with the executive mayor, together with videos, is that the borehole is working. We have a generator that is there, that we've assigned to assist the community in that particular village. That is why it will be very difficult for me to say, well, the community is getting water. Or not. Immediately after the executive mayor gave an instruction, our team went there. They were able to make assessment.
When was this?
And it is the team. He had an interview in December.
But it's now February. It's the 20th of February. So if somebody who's in the community, either way, if somebody in the community is saying it's not working today.
They went there to do an assessment, and the assessment then indicated that we'll need a three-phase generator. Then we were able to procure the three-phase generator, and the team went back there in January. The executive mayor is sitting with the proof that the borehole is working. I also have the proof that the borehole is working.
Yes, but if somebody is saying to you today that it's not working, then surely it's something to be looked into.
No, of course.
Yes, let's leave it at that. Yeah, let's leave it at that. Percy?
It's very clear that Mopani have the capacity in terms of their finances to deal with the water issues in Giyani. But the problem is the corruption that we have in that district. That municipality has a lot of corruption. The way these guys are failing the people of Giyani and the district as a whole is very much alarming.
All right, Percy? We're going to have to leave it there.
Well, there you have it. There was a water project in the Greater Giyani district. In fact, very specifically, the water project was meant to provide water to Giyani, Litaba, Balaburwa, Zanin, Maruleng, and the various rural areas making up the Greater Giyani district. Connection to the water project, of course, due to vast levels of corruption in the water project itself, the interim measure was to install and give access to the residents to water by drilling boreholes. There were issues with the boreholes, and subsequently that was discussed in that conversation. Joining us today is Biro Mshimbia, once again, community representative from the Mashimbi Royal House, and Oda Songobeni, the spokesperson for the Mopani District Municipality. Vusi Chauke will also be joining us as the chairperson of the Greater Giyani Concerns Residents. Biro, the last time you were on the show, welcome to the show. The last time you were on the show, you had expressed the difficulty of access to water by residents who live in the Mashimbi Royal district and Mashimbi Royal area, and the frustrations of lack of water infrastructure and the projects being stalled there. What has happened between February and now? It is almost now 4 months later.
Good morning, Dickson. Good morning, SA listeners and the body community members. Since we have a chat in the SAFM, in your station, in your radio, nothing has been done. They've never come to our area to check or to see the issue that I've reported on February in the stations. So currently, the community, they don't have water at all. The borehole still stands still. Nothing has been done. The project that they are busy with, the contractor have left the site without a notice. Hence, I've reported this for the second time. It's because we don't know where to go to, because currently the community that is between Zingi and Maswangani, which is border, is the only community in that area where the contractor have left the site without the notice to the community. We did even write to them also to highlight that the contractor have left the site through the PSC chairperson, and even indicating that they are even trying to get paid for the job that they've not done by submitting the fraudulent document to DWS in the Mopani municipality, but they are not replying to us.
Yeah. As it currently stands, how are residents and community members accessing water?
We are buying from the people who are selling water through the trucks in our community. Nothing is happening.
Yeah. Odas, is it true that nothing has been done by the municipality since the last conversation in February?
Good morning, Oliver, as well as to your guests at the station and to your listeners as well. Look, Oliver, there's something that perhaps we may want to first clarify in relation to the work that we do. The Guyana Water Project is meant for the Guyana, the Greater Guyana community. We do have other local municipalities like Maruleng, Litava, Palavura, as well as the Greater Guyana municipality, where we are implementing various water infrastructure projects. But to zoom specifically to this issue, we did indicate even in our last interaction at this show that we have boreholes in the community of Bode, which is supposed to supply water to the community in the interim, because we're supposed to implement a water reticulation project which encountered so many stoppages. And
sorry, Odas, my apologies for interrupting you. I am going to give you an opportunity to give context and to go into the history and the detail thereof. But I just need you to, at the moment, answer me on the question, on the claim made by Biro. Has nothing happened since between February and now?
We are providing water through the bulk water infrastructure that we have to augment the boreholes that the community is having, which is 4 boreholes. 3 are currently working. There is one that is not working because of vandalism. We have experienced vandalism on that borehole on numerous occasions, and we have, to that extent, opened a police case.
Okay, so the 4 boreholes, where exactly are they? Pinpoint their locations for us, please.
It's at Bode Village.
Bode Village.
Yes.
All 4.
Yes, all 4 of them. And I'm sitting here
in Mashimbi, are there boreholes there that are functioning?
I don't know if it's called machines. I'm sure there is no one that will say in the Greater Guyana municipalities are aware of a village called Machines.
Okay,
there is no village called Machines.
Okay, just for clarity's sake, Biro, what is the name of the village you very specifically made reference to?
To put it clear, the village called Bode. The Bode, it's our grandfather whose machines. You know very well that area. It's Bode. So you can, if you want, you can call it Shindandazi people or machines people.
So in
machines.
So in Bode there are 4 boreholes. Odas tells us 3 of them are functioning. Is that your experience on the ground? Biro?
At Bode we do. You know, at Bode we have Bode A and Bode B. I want you to get it clear. And there is the Bode A and Bode B. We do have borehole that's not working.
Okay.
Even the committee can confess that.
Okay.
Then we have the area.
Okay. Yes.
We have the area who's part of Bode we call it Siamwing area, where the borehole is working. When I reported my case, I said the borehole for Bode A and Bode B is not working. It's the one that on February, where we requested the municipality to come and resolve the issue, whereby Odas Ngoveni in your radio station promised to come after our conversation in the radio. But he didn't come to check what I was claiming, what he says I was claiming.
Okay, I just want to pause you there because before we veer off into other stuff. Odas, we now know that there's Bode A, Bode B, and that is the Mashimbi village that is spoken about here. The 4 boreholes that you say have been installed, where exactly are they, and which are the ones that are functioning, and which is the one that's not functional?
No, I may not know the difference between Bode A and Bode B. What I know is that is the village of Bode, and we have 4 boreholes that are working there. We have borehole operators, community volunteers who are ready to participate in this interview, called upon to confirm that indeed the boreholes are working.
Okay. The one borehole that's not working, you say it's as a result of vandalism. Has anything been done about the vandalism?
Look, we tried to take a generator there. Unfortunately, with the size of the pump that is installed in that borehole, the generator is not able to pick up the pump, and to that extent is not able to supply the community. We are currently engaging with ESCOM so that they are able to go and replace the transformer that was stolen.
Yeah, but you were in conversation with ESCOM as far back as February. What's happened in the last 4 months about that?
We also need to be able to make payments to ESCOM. And this is one of the areas that as a municipality we were actually trying to attend to, because we have a number of boreholes that are not energized. Some are just indeed vandalized, like in this instance. But we are going through a process where we've allocated enough budget to be able to cater for those boreholes that are still not energized. And this is part of the boreholes that are supposed to be energized. We do not have budget at this moment to can look into that. That is why we're opting for the option of the generator.
Yeah. Vusi, I want to bring you into the conversation. Is that is what was described by Biro an experience that affects residents across the Greater Guyana?
Excuse me?
Is the description given to us by Biro about the experience of residents in Bode, is that something that is experienced by residents across the Greater Guyana?
Yes. Thank you for the opportunity and for the listeners. Yes, it is, because the water crisis is a problem. It's a problem because most of the villages, on the 24 villages which have been reticulated, some of them are okay. 3 of them are receiving water, but the rest are not. As you have heard before, the issue of boreholes, it also plays a big role in supplying water to the community. And most of the boreholes that we're talking about today are not working. They are there, some are dry, some are...
When you say most of the boreholes, give us an actual number.
I don't have the actual number with me, as I was only told that we'll be talking today because of the place is not available today. But then what I know is when we engage with the communities, they always say, we don't have running water from the pipes, but then we have boreholes which are not running. And if the boreholes are not running as an alternative support to the community,
okay. Can you perhaps tell us which areas in the community?
Okay, that one I think I have a list of some of the villages which don't have water.
Okay.
Just give me a second here. But then one of them, it's the same village which is talking about today, Bode. There is also Bambeni, which is having water from some of the areas are supposed to get water from the underground water. Mapayin is also suffering the same thing. Mapata, Magera, Maswanganyi, Tlaniki, and Skukwan. But those are the ones which are suffering. But then the ones who are suffering the most, it's Makosha and Resinga, because they don't have any alternative. So it becomes a problem. It becomes a problem because, remember, the Mopani district municipality has 5 municipalities, but then within the Greater Guyana we have 96 villages. And the only ones which now we're talking about, it's these few which are close by. But then with the rest of the community in the Greater Guyana, the water is a problem. And if we can't get water from the water supply from the Bragg line, then there's an alternative which was supposed to be these boreholes. But they're not happening. Even in the previous administration where Senzo was still the Minister of Water and Sanitation. We went to Nengeza, whereby they promised an alternative solution for the community. And remember, this community which I'm talking about today, it's even worse from border because these ones are next to Sami Dam, the Middle Itaba Dam, which is dry today. And then with these people, they see the water from the dam. They used to see water from the dam, but there's no water which they are receiving now. And they were promised an alternative, an emergency alternative solution, which was boreholes, which was supposed to be drilled. Back then, just look at the time frame when Senzo was still the Water and Sanitation Minister to date. Whereby even today, those boreholes which were promised at that time, they haven't received it. So it becomes, and now, this thing of shortages of water, it opens an element of crime because it comes back to now in the absence of substitute of receiving water. It means we open this gap whereby people have trucks, they collect water, where some in some cases they even damage this infrastructure that we have so that they can collect water and take it to the ones who really need it. Because remember, if I'm able to break a pipe or a hydrant in where I can be able to find water, it means that people in that area have water. But then the people that we're talking about now, which is far away from the water treatment plant, which are not receiving water, that is the alternative. But then now this gap, Mopani needs to step up because what we're talking about here is the human rights. This water is a human right. It's not a favor what they're supposed to do for us. It's not a favor. We deserve this water. People need to live, and they need to live with clean water. And the water which are being collected with these water trucks or buckets or whatever they use, we're not even sure how clean that water is. Because remember, there's environmental issues, there's health issues, and then we don't even know the containers which they are collecting the water with, how clean is it. But then it leaves the community without any choice except to buy those waters from those people. And when we talk about Giyani, when we talk about these villages, we're talking about the rural areas where most of the people are unemployed. They depend on grants. So you just imagine whereby the grant which is supposed to help these people to survive, they're also taking from the little money that they have and buy water, which was supposed to be delivered or supplied to us as a community, as human beings, as a human right, by the municipality. But then they're taking the small things that they need to survive with and buy water, which is very painful. And whereby, if Mopani has the means to supply and make these boreholes work in the meantime, while they are busy doing the long-term solution, this could really work. Because people cannot come here on air and then talk to the whole nation and say we don't have water while there isn't water. Why?
Yeah.
And if our municipality was taking us very seriously, they should have made an appointment with the people who are crying. Okay, Mr. Bashinji, you're saying you don't have water. You're saying there was an illegal connection from this borehole. You're saying this and this. Let's go. Show us.
Yeah.
Remember, the community are there almost every day.
I want to pause you there because I want to give an opportunity for others to reflect on that, but I do need to take a break. If you are a resident in Giyani listening to the show right now, give us a call. We'd love to hear your thoughts, your experiences, and what has in your area specifically transpired over the last couple of months. 086 000 2032. 086 000 2032. You can send me a WhatsApp voice note on 0614 104 107. It's 10:30. Let's take your latest news headlines.
Thank you, Oliver. On the news headlines on SAFM, I am on Delambana, and a very good morning. 2 Eastern Cape healthcare workers have been shot dead in Lusikisiki last night. According to reports, the couple was stationed at St. Elizabeth Hospital. The High Court in Polokwane, Limpopo, has struck off the roll an urgent application to interdict the ANC's Peter Mokaba Regional Elective Conference, and Canada, Uruguay and Spain are among the countries calling for accountability from Israel after Israeli soldiers fired shots near an international diplomatic delegation visiting the occupied West Bank. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
Let's take a look at your markets at this hour. The rand is currently trading at 17 rand 93 cents to the dollar, 24 rand 7 cents to the pound, and 20 rand 31 cents to the euro. Markets in Asia were weaker at the closing bell. The JSE is in red across the board in mid-morning trade, while markets in Europe are currently in negative terrain. Gold is trading at $3,328 and platinum at $1,078 per ounce. The price of Brent crude oil is at $64.28 a barrel.
Get your payments done with the utmost security and convenience when you purchase a TV license now. With our new secure payment systems with a one-time PIN, OTP feature, and the choice of receiving your OTP via SMS or email, you can ensure prompt and secure payments. The additional use of capture will protect you against spam and automated data attractions. With TV licenses, you can enjoy watching all your favorite shows or movies that matter to you. Get yours today. Visit www.tvlic.co.za.
Your nights just got a turbo boost. Buckle up because at 10 p.m. it's all thrill, mystery and pure entertainment. Mondays to Wednesdays, we are back on the track with Top Gear Season 14, where speed meets insanity and the world's wildest cars get pushed to their limits. On Thursdays, we uncover the truth in Imposter, Back from the Dead. Season 1 kicks off with chilling twists in a tale of deception, survival, and secrets long buried. Fridays, we take a deep dive into the unknown with Secrets of the Bermuda, exploring the myths, the disappearances, and the terrifying truth behind the world's most infamous triangle. 3 explosive shows, 1 unforgettable hour. It all starts at 10 p.m. only on S3. Don't miss it!
Are you looking for deals you can't ignore? Get unbeatable baby savings at Dickson this winter. Buy Baby Things premium nappies for only R179.99 per pack. Get 20% off Bepanthen Baby 100-gram nappy care ointment. And buy any 3 Johnson's baby products and get the cheapest free. Don't miss out on big baby savings, valid from 13 May till 15 June. Only at Dickson Pharmacies. Better health starts here.
Municipal Watch, bringing your local issues on the national agenda. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
It is just after 10:30 this morning. I'm in conversation with Birom Shembi, Vusi Chauke, as well as Oda Ngobeni, and we're talking about the water crisis faced by residents of the Greater Giyani district. Odas, before we went to the break there, Vusi had enumerated a number of issues there, particularly by saying that the water crisis, or at least the lack of access to water described by Biro about the Bode residents, seem to extend into the rest of the Greater Giyani district, into other villages as well. Give us a sense of just how vast it is from the perspective of the municipality.
Oliver, we have never sought to create an impression that water supply in Greater Giyani or in the district is anywhere near perfect. And if we were to go back to the last interaction that we had, we did indicate why perhaps the Giyani water project was conceptualized. But if you zoom into what Mr. Chauke is saying, with the exception of only one village, which is Klanik, the rest of the villages that he has mentioned were implementing water projects. And majority of those communities, we have completed the water reticulation projects. We have the bulk water, we have the water storage infrastructure. We have installed household connections. The only thing that we're waiting for is for DWS through the water board to finish with the bulk water connection. And these communities will have sustainable supply of water. Now, that speaks to the work that we've been doing as a district municipality, but also as government as a whole. What we are trying to do, Oliver, is try to go into communities where we know there is no alternative source. He did mention your villages like Ndangeza, we know the challenge there is the water resources. The dam there is no longer able to supply or to meet the demand from the communities there. And that is where we're trying to augment the water supply with the boreholes, including water tinkering, which I did indicate even at that time that it is not something that is easy for us. It's very expensive for the district.
Okay, let's get down to granularities as an update. What has the municipality done between February and now? How many boreholes have been fixed and made operational?
Look, the challenge that we have, Oliver, has been around the vandalism, the theft of transformers, but also the work around electrification. That is why the council has prioritized the issue of trying to go back to all the boreholes that are vandalized where transformers have been stolen. For instance, in Guyana alone, you have 45 transformers that have been stolen in our boreholes. Now, that on its own says that we need to be going back to ESCOM to get the ESCOM to replace these transformers. But we also have instances where we have a backlog in terms of electrification, which is a challenge that we acknowledge as a district, and we are trying to set aside.
Okay, so for clarity purposes, no additional boreholes have been built and or made operational since February?
No, we have maintained boreholes. We have maintained boreholes. We did buy bulk spares, and our teams are also on the ground.
Okay.
Just in February,
how many in February? Let me perhaps rephrase the question. In February of this year, how many boreholes in Greater Guyana district were operational? Today, how many boreholes are operational?
We had 267 boreholes that were operational in Guyana during our last interaction, and today we are at 281.
Today you had 200 and how many?
267
were operational in February.
Yes.
And today the number is
281.
Okay, so 6 boreholes have become unoperational.
I don't follow, Oliver.
So
we're at 267.
267.
Now we're saying we're at 281.
Oh, 281.
Remember,
okay.
This boreholes,
sorry, I thought you said 261. My apologies. I heard you wrong.
These boreholes, you will know, Oliver, some of these boreholes, sometimes they will dry up, just like Mr. Chagu was saying. Some of them will dry up. You will have those that, as I indicated earlier, you also have vandalism, which is the biggest challenge that we have, particularly here in the Greater Guyana municipality. Like I'm saying, we have 45 of those that have been vandalized.
Okay.
And we have to try to go back to try to fix those boreholes.
Just maybe another question. Do you know who is vandalizing the boreholes?
I wouldn't say I know, Oliver. What we are calling for is for the community to support our work in trying to safeguard the infrastructure that we have, because these boreholes are meant to supply water to our communities in the short term while we try to implement this water project that is supposed to provide sustainable water to our communities, particularly the bulk water that was supposed to reticulate to all the communities in the Greater Guyana municipality.
Okay. Biro, of the 4 boreholes in Bode, one is not operational, it's due to vandalism. Does the community know who vandalized the borehole?
Yeah, just to correct Dix, it's 2 boreholes at Bode that is not working, Bode A and Bode B.
Okay, so of the 4 that are there, 2 are not operating?
They're not operating Bode A and Bode B, that's for fact. And then we don't know who actually is vandalizing. Understand? But what I can tell you, everything that others is saying from the first conversation is a lie, because firstly, in the first conversation, he reported that a transformer has been stolen in our borehole, which is not true. We do have the transformer there. There is a security has been put there after the vandalism. After we realized that the illegal the connections that was there, it was illegally. That was connected in the Anglo-American farm infrastructure. And I said, so we don't know who vandalized it. We realized that the following morning when we wake up that all the poles has been cut off, but the transformer is still there.
Yeah. Vusi,
and then the other thing is the pump. The pump, it has been stolen under our watch. They removed it. When they removed it, I even asked the engineers the question, why are you taking the pump that it was good for the purpose to get water to the community now? Then they says to me, no, because now we are changing infrastructure, we'll bring the other one. The one that they bring it back there is the small one that cannot support the community. But the bigger one, to my suspicion, it has been stolen. I don't think it's even there in their plant, because they didn't even explain to us why they are removing that pump. Even the security that are working there, they know what I'm talking about.
Okay. Vusi, of the 45 boreholes that have been vandalized across the greater Giyani district that Odas told us about, does the community know or have any sort of intelligence that could help the municipality and the police to track down the criminals who are vandalizing it? Does the community know who's responsible for it?
At the moment, I'm not sure. But we're also busy doing that investigation to find out who's vandalizing this, because this is the infrastructure which is supposed to be helping us as a community. But, Oliver, we shouldn't be talking about vandalism when, if you know there's a problem, it means you need to have measures in place to protect those boreholes in a manner of having a security. You understand? So if we're having a problem, if you're having 265 boreholes and 45 are being vandalized, it means the other ones are there to follow. But then what measures do we have to protect these boreholes from being vandalized from the municipality? Because we cannot say, no, they're being vandalized and we leave it at that. No. And Oliver, just to divert a bit, we shouldn't be talking about okay, they're saying there's about 24 villages which are being reticulated now. But it seems the way I look at it with this water problem, we're still going to have another problem. We're trying to solve another issue, but then we're creating another one on the other side. Why am I saying this? Now, the 24 villages which are being reticulated, not all of them are receiving water. I think there's about 5 or 6 which are receiving water from the new reticulation. The other ones are partially, the other ones are not even complete. But the existing one now, as we're talking, you and I, the Mopane has implemented water shedding. If they have implemented water shedding now, while the 24 are not fully functional, by the time the 24 are fully functional, what's going to happen? Because it's surely if you opt for a water shedding, it means there's a challenge in producing enough water for everyone at the same time. So now you need to share the water regardless according to pipeline. So if the 24 now, which are not complete, by the time they become operational, what's going to happen? Because now the borehole, as Mr. Odas has said, it's a short-term solution. But then we also need to look at the long-term solution. And the long-term solution is the same village which I spoke about in Dengeza, where Stekrefir is. That was our water storage. The government as a whole, not Mopan only, the government as a whole, is national government. They are shying away from resolving that issue of ZZ2. Because the dams there, Secretary of Middle Tower, used to supply Giyani with water 100%. And we didn't depend on the pipeline from Nandone for supplying Giyani. But now, in the absence of Litaba, we still have a water crisis. Because now, the farming dam that we're talking about, we call it it's a mud dam. The water is too dark. It needs water. It needs some other water, cleaner water, so that it can dilute itself. They can dilute so that it's easy to process and clean those water, so that it passes the blue drop and green drop processes.
Yeah.
But now, with these boreholes that we're talking about short-term solutions. What is the long-term solution for our people? And also with these boreholes, who's looking after these boreholes? Because there's an infrastructure which costs millions to implement. How can you drill a borehole, equip the borehole, electrify the borehole, and leave it like that? So it's also a solution. It's also partially the problem of the municipality, because now we are aware that there are 45 boreholes which are vandalized, and then the other ones, it means they're still to come. It means that the syndicate where people vandalize these boreholes, I'm not sure is it for the pumps which they have, or for the transformers which they have, or any other components which they need, or unless it's the corruption which is happening around South Africa, like this, so that they can come back and redo it again. They vandalize this unless they come back and do it again, because this infrastructure needs to be protected.
Yeah. Let's take some calls. 086 000 2032. Let's go to the lines. Loward, you called in that brought this issue to our attention the very first time around. Good morning.
Good morning, Oliver.
Go for it.
Yes, thanks a lot for the opportunity. I can confirm with you and with confidence, Oliver, that the situation remains the same in the Mopani district municipality. And that is the authority that has been given power to distribute water to the community. But they are dismally failing in that aspect. Oliver, the problem of water around the area is multi-pronged, because we have got issue of boreholes, we have got issue of water treatment plants which are not being serviced properly, and they are dysfunctioning. Myself and the community around us, we are lying in a water treatment plant called Mapuve, treatment plant, Oliver. We have got a perpetual problem of dysfunctionality in that treatment plant, but the Mopani district municipality is there to make it a point that they see to it that the problem is resolved. Maybe, Oliver, when I'm finishing, maybe Judge Bernard Ngwete's imminent report relating to all these shenanigans is going to assist us, because the really terror then, which one of your panelists has mentioned there, it was distributing water to all of us before that two did his own magics with the tributaries in that side. So hopefully from now on, something better is going to be done relating to the water, because we are struggling in this part of the world.
Yeah. Thank you so much for calling in and sharing that with us, Loward. Appreciate it. Thomas in Guyana. Thomas, good morning.
Morning, Oliver. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Go for it, Thomas.
I'm fine. I would like to attest to what Mr. Biro has uttered there. I'm also the resident of Bode. So, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start or what to say about this municipality of ours. And then what Mr. Mashinja has raised with you there is very much true. So now we are also surprised that the project site have closed. And as a community, we don't even have a clue, a communicable clue as to what transpired that led to the closure of that project. And then I'm also surprised to hear that we have 3 or 4 boreholes which are in operation right now, because I only know 2 at in our village actually. And then as to the issue of vandalism, I'm also surprised as to what have they done as a municipality to mitigate the issue of the purported vandalism which took place. So I'm really tired, Oliver.
Yeah.
Maybe let them talk about how do you go forward with this issue.
Yeah.
Please
Thomas,
let the spokesperson be clear with us.
Yeah.
How are they? What is it that they are going to do to mitigate this problem? Because
Thomas, I do want
to.
Yeah, I do think your point has been captured. Thanks for that. I just want to give Rulani a chance before I go to the break. Rulani in Mavusa. Good morning. Ooh, Rulani, your sound's terrible. Let's try that again. Rulani, good morning. Go for it.
How do you live?
Ooh, that's terrible. But maybe speak. Let's hear it out.
Hello, how are you?
Ooh, Ronani, we're going to see if we can try and get you on a better line. Give us a call, 086 000 2032. We're going to take a break. On the other side of this, we'll give Odas Ngobeni an opportunity to respond.
The
Red Devils want to wrap up the season with maximum points at Old Trafford.
Into the box, brilliant, absolutely fantastic. And Mason Mount strikes again. Brilliant stuff from Manchester United.
While the Villains want to conclude their good race with a victory.
And Rodgers turns and sees a knee ball into an Ollie Watkins, and he's touched it home. Ollie Watkins breaks the record. Number 75 for Watkins.
This is the bottom half versus top half Premier League clash. Catch Manchester United FC versus Aston Villa FC on Sunday 25 May at 4:30 p.m. Streaming live on SABC Plus and S3. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
We all have an enemy.
Not me.
Oh, please. Trust me, you do. Some are vocal about it. I mean, they don't shy away from it. Open hatred. Well, at least they're honest about it. Then you get our Satan. Oh, they will hate you in the shadows. Consult the Magoya of Baloi. Maybe an Nkabi for you here and there. Trash your name until it can't even be recycled. Tune into My Secret Enemy and get a front row seat to some of the most spine-chilling stories in the Hall of Betrayal. My Secret Enemy, Mondays at 6 p.m. only on S3. Open up.
Hi, I'm Khomotso KG Mweketi, and I believe in music's ability to connect, to heal, to remind, and to bring joy. And each week on my Saturday and Sunday show Seasons right here on SAFM, I endeavor to do just that. So join the movement of Seasons every Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's addictive. You might invite a friend. Seasons, only on SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide with me, KG Mweketi. Because where words fail, music speaks.
Municipal Watch, bringing your local issues on the national agenda. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
We've got 8 minutes left here in the Municipal Watch. Let's try this again. Rulani in Mavusa, hopefully we can hear you this time around. Good morning.
Sorry about that, Oliver. Can you hear me?
Much better. Go for it.
Okay, Oliver, I'm just going to go straight to the process.
Rulani, I think you're holding your phone in a way that's not conducive. Perhaps try to hold it differently so we can hear you better.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Much better. Go for it now.
Yes. I'm just going to be quick here. First of all, I'm just going to say Giyani municipality is very corrupt. In my community right now, we're even planning a strike against them because they gave a tender here to someone to come and install pipes in our community, which the pipes have disturbed the supply of water to the reservoir here in the community. We found out about this like 2 months back. Even with the issue of the reservoirs, they are going to lie to you. That I know. Why am I saying this? I've had a lot of interactions with them. They tell you one thing and they do the other. And the reason for that is the excuse they always tell you is the budget and all that. But to be honest with you, the people that are working in Giyani municipality are just very corrupt, and they love it when people call them and talk to them about issues which they know they're not going to solve. Why am I saying this? I went to Middle Taba Dam with the MMC. The MMC, I think, is the one who runs all the dams that we have here in Limpopo. What we found out there in Middle Taba Dam is very shocking. I was there. One of the things, they don't use the right material to certify the water in Middle Taba Dam. And then the second thing, they sometimes remove some of the machines in Middle Taba Dam and take them to vendor, which I was very shocked to find out that some of the things that are making us not get water is because of that. And the other issue, the asbestos which they've used in that Middle Taba Dam, the systems that they've used that time when the dam was built, they are always busting. Let me give you an example. For 15 or to 20 years, I've been seeing the municipality guys fixing the same pipes all the time.
Yeah.
And sometimes they tell us they don't have a TLB, the whole of Mopani district, when these pipes burst, So it's just corruption, Olive. They are going to lie. They are going to make people look like fools, but others knows the truth. And there is this shuffling. When they shuffle people and move them from position. This year you will speak to others. Next year you will speak to another guy. I don't even think they do handovers.
Look, I'm going to pause you there, Rulani, but thanks for your call. I really do appreciate it. I want to give Odas an opportunity to respond. Odas, we had 3 callers there. What are your responses to their complaints?
Look, Oliver, we just to first respond to the issue of the water shedding, which was raised by Mr. Chau. We are still busy with the project, and the demand is that as and when we were moving to other villages where we were implementing this project, we have to be doing pressure testing, and that means that we must be able to redirect water at some time so that we're able to finish some of these projects. Look, it's true, Oliver, that the water supply challenges in Guyana are real, and we've never hidden from that fact that we do have challenges. We are not perfect in terms of water supply, but you have to also as well appreciate the work that we've been doing through the support of the community structures, including the support that we've had from your Guyana concerned residents, because they sit in our multi-stakeholder forum. We can only call on the community to join hands with us so that we're able to safeguard this infrastructure. The reality of the matter, Oliver, is that we will not be able to have security officers in all of the boroughs that we have across the district. We have more than 1,000 boroughs. And that means that for us to be able to safeguard this infrastructure on our own as a district, we'll need to have a security officer in all of those boroughs, which is not something that is practical. That is why we're calling on the community to support our efforts around safeguarding this infrastructure, so that as and when we move with the projects around the bulk water infrastructure, the communities are able to get something to rely on in terms of water supply in the short term.
Yeah.
That is the call that we can make to the communities at this point.
Yeah. I want to play you this WhatsApp voice note to respond to.
Good day, Olive. Orders full of stories. Ask him what happened with the 4 billion that was supposed to upgrade the pipelines from Nandoni Dam to Guyana. Because it's a scheme to make money. It's a scheme to make money for real. Thank you.
What else? What happened to the 4 billion? The SIU is trying to recover more than 2.8 billion of it.
No, true. That is a matter that is with the SIU. The ministry is handling that issue. Our work is to try to ensure that with the responsibility that has been given to us to reticulate to villages, we try to move with speed to ensure that the communities do get water and direct water to their households. That is what we are trying to do. The rest of the work is now in the hands of the SIU. The ministry is better placed to can respond to that particular issue.
Two boreholes in Bode are not working. You said it's only one. It was corrected there by Bureau and saying 2. When will the municipality fix that?
Look, we still insist that is 3, Oliver. We still insist that is 3. But like we said, we need to be moving with a bit of speed to ensure that we at least get the other one electrified, which is something that we have committed that we should be doing by the 1st of July, because we are trying to work on a budget to ensure that we cover as much as we can in terms of electrifying all the boroughs that are not electrified.
Yeah, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time this morning. I really do appreciate it. That is Odas Ngobeni, the spokesperson of the Mopani District Municipality. I also spoke to Vusi Chauke, the chairperson of the Greater Guyana Concerned Residents, and Biro Mashimbi, who is a community representative from the Mashimbi Royal House. And thank you so much for your calls and voice notes on that. Does South Africa need a green bank, a bank that will finance green and clean energy projects in the country? We talk about that on the other side of this. It's 11 o'clock. Let's take your latest news bulletin.
Thank you, Oliver. Top stories at 11. 2 healthcare workers shot dead in the Eastern Cape. An outrage after Israel fire warning shots to diplomats. For SAFM News, I am Ondalambana, and a very good morning. 2 Eastern Cape healthcare workers have been shot dead in Lusikisiki last night. According to reports, the couple are stationed at St. Elizabeth Hospital. The details about the incident are still sketchy at this point. Eastern Cape Health MEC Ndandokazi Kapa has expressed shock on the incident and called for the investigation on the matter. Provincial Health spokesperson Sizwe Kulpelo elaborates.
Health MEC Mr. Ndokazi Kapa has expressed her shock following the killing of 2 health workers who were stationed at St. Elizabeth Hospital in Lusikisiki. The couple was working at the St. Elizabeth Hospital as a professional nurse and another one as a manager responsible for HR. Circumstances surrounding the death of these 2 employees is not yet known. The MEC has sent her heartfelt condolences to their colleagues and family.
The Tonga Regional Court in Boschfontein, Mpumalanga, has sentenced a 35-year-old man to 3 life prison terms for the rape of his 13-year-old stepdaughter. Mandla Khoza was found guilty of raping the survivor 3 times in June 2017. The incident happened while the girl's mother was away. The mother was handed a suspended 5-year prison sentence for failing to report the matter to the police after her child told her about the rape ordeal. They were both arrested after the survivor's aunt found a suicide note and alerted the police. The provincial police spokesperson Jabu Ndubane says the man's name will be added to the National Offence Register. The High Court in Polokwane, Limpopo, has struck off the roll an urgent application to interdict the ANC's Peter Mokaba Regional Elective Conference. Some ANC members wanted the court to stop the conference, arguing that there are unresolved disputes. Judge President George Patudi says the application lacks urgency.
Attempts have been made to try to resolve this matter, but waiting and only come here on the 11th hour and protest agency, it's something else. I've considered the matter, and in light of the facts, I am of the view that the present application is not sufficiently urgent. Consequently, I make the following order. The application struck off the roll with costs.
Limpopo ANC Secretary Ruben Madadze has welcomed the court judgment.
Once the appellants receives their verdicts from the NDRC, the conference will then continue. We are delighted by the judgment delivered by the Judge President. This judgment will set at least a caution to our members.
South African cleric and anti-apartheid activist, the Reverend Alan Boesak, says the time has come for a new progressive government that will end the crisis that the majority of poor people in South Africa are facing. Boesak and trade unions like COSATU, SAFTU and other civil society organizations addressed the media in Cape Town under the People Against Budget Cuts coalition. Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana finally delivered his budget speech following disagreements over a proposed VAT hike. The VAT hike was eventually abandoned. Boesak says the current budget only caters for the rich and not for the poor.
The government has no imagination whatsoever, no imaginative power, no creative power. They are caught within this trap that they have set for themselves because they have been bound by the voices of wealth and privilege and power to the extent that they can no longer hear the genuine voices of pain coming from our people.
Canada, Uruguay and Spain are among the countries calling for accountability from Israel after Israeli soldiers fired shots near an international diplomatic delegation visiting the occupied West Bank. No injuries were reported in the incident in the flashpoint city of Jenin. The Israeli military accused the delegation of straying from a previously agreed route. Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney addressed the issue during a press conference.
The Israeli ambassador has been summoned to Global Affairs to see the minister and explain. We expect a full investigation. We expect a immediate explanation of what happened. It's totally unacceptable. It's some of many things that are totally unacceptable that's going on in the region.
Becoming the top story, 2 Eastern Cape healthcare workers have been shot dead in Lusikisiki last night. According to reports, the couple was stationed at St. Elizabeth Hospital. I am on Delambana for SAFM News Headlines at 11:30.
This May, SAFM celebrates Africa Month with you as we honor the legacy of the Organization of African Unity. We bring you rich conversations and stories that shape the continent. Join us as we celebrate African pride, unity, and progress. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
No matter our abilities, we can all play together.
It's always time to play on Takalani Sesame.
Wow! I love this game! Learning new things is the best part about having a friend who knows something you don't know.
Oh, yay!
We are all special in our own way.
Tune in to see what makes you special for the all-new episodes of Takalani Sesame. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on SABC2.
Hi, I'm Khomotso KG Mweketi, and I believe in music's ability to connect, to heal, to remind, and to bring joy. And each week on my Saturday and Sunday show Seasons, right here on SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide, I endeavor to do just that. So join the movement of Seasons every Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's addictive. You might invite a friend. Seasons, only on SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide, with me, KG Mwekezi.
The Talking Point on SAFM, weekdays, 9 a.m. till midday.
It is 7 minutes after 11 o'clock. This is The Talking Point. Thank you so much for being with us. There was a lot of talk about renewable energy yesterday. In fact, Parks Dow, the Minister of Trade, Industry and Competition last night, had mentioned some of that oil and gas exploration, but also green and renewable energy were part of the discussions that played out between South Africa and the US. Many countries around the world have specific instruments through which they fund and finance green and clean energy projects. South Africa doesn't necessarily have one, albeit private banks in South Africa have such instruments in their banks. For instance, Standard Bank has a very specific ratio, Standard Corporate Finance has a very specific ratio that for every R1 they spend on a coal or fossil fuel-based energy project, they spend R5 on a green or renewable-based energy project, and it's leveraged in that sort of way. However, there's an argument that South Africa needs a green bank that is state-funded, state-capitalized, and state-backed, partially state-funded, to finance very specifically green projects in South Africa, specifically because renewable energy financing that are negotiated at state level often means there comes along subsidies, grants, and loans through which green energy and renewable energy projects are financed. And joining us to talk about that today on the program is Ntobeko Cele, the Vice President for Finance and Business at the National Executive Economic Collective. Ntobeko, good morning.
Good morning, Oliver. How are you?
I'm fantastic, man. Thank you so much for joining us. Really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
In detail, what exactly is a green bank and how does it practically function?
So in its core, a green bank is specifically and strategically funds renewable innovations, energy innovations that can foster into enhancing energy security for our country, whether it be green energy, renewable energy, or innovations that improve the current energy transition.
Yeah. Why is there a need for South Africa, given that we already have various other instruments through which renewable energy projects are financed. Our corporate investment banks have instruments. The state has, in the presidency, has an instrument. In fact, there are climate change commissioners, and there's a presidential climate change commission through which financing has been negotiated and is being negotiated at various levels. Why do we specifically need a green bank in South Africa?
So basically, our core argument to that specifically is that the youth aspect is not involved in the financing institutions that are current. The green bank essentially that we are arguing is it would foster youth entrepreneurs to come up with innovations and help our energy stability and enhance our energy security.
Yeah. Let's talk about what youth-led startups, youth-led research organizations, and perhaps youth-led think tanks are doing in the green energy space. Give us a sense of what's happening in the country.
So there are some youth-led, for lack of a better word, entrepreneurs that are fostering themselves. Some financing companies and institutions have assisted them in growing their growing their companies rather, but we don't see this on a larger scale. So this is essentially what this green bank that we are arguing should come with as a package.
Yeah. And currently, how do young entrepreneurs in the green energy space access funding? Mainly our conventional funding houses, obviously knowing that there's a long process that goes through, but then you have to have your collateral involved and all sorts. So your IDC and PIC and as you mentioned in the intro, Standard Bank and other banks. And typically, are the barriers to access finance greater for youth-led startups in the green energy space? From our research, we haven't found that to be the case in its core. Yeah. Can you give us a sense of what some of those additional barriers might be?
Basically, as a youth-led, you'd have to have some sort of backing, a deposit, or you would have to put up collateral, and that makes it difficult for youth-led companies and entrepreneurs to access that sort of funding. So that answers your question.
What do you mean you'd need to have backing? What sort of backing are we talking about?
Backing being people that have been in the space specifically, that have been on the board, or a financial backing from private funding. Yeah, I think that should answer your question.
Yeah. Give us a call, 086 000 2032, 086 000 2032. I'd love to hear your thoughts about the potential of a green energy bank, or a green bank, so to speak, as being proposed by my guest this morning, Ntobeko, talking about what the advantages would be specifically for youth-led businesses and youth entrepreneurs in the green energy space. Are you perhaps a young person in the energy space looking to access green energy financing? I'd love to hear from you. 086 000 2032, and you can send me a WhatsApp voice on 0614 104 107. We're going to take a short break. On the other side of this, we continue.
SAFM has signed a code of conduct that is enforced by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. Under the code, we are committed to giving news that is accurate, comment that is fair, and programming that is not harmful, does not amount to hate speech, or contain violence or explicit sex. If you think we are not living up to that code, then you can inform the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. Direct any complaints in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. PO Box 142365, Craig Hall 2024. Fax to 011-326-3198 or an email to bccsa@nabsa.co.za. For more information, please visit www.bccsa.co.za. Across South Africa, online and on radio. SAFM, let's talk. SAFM supports a litter-free South Africa. Play your part in keeping our surroundings and environment clean. SAFM, leading the conversation.
With the ever-changing financial landscape, it can be difficult to make sense of all the moves at times. Join me, Jimmy Moyaha, on the SAFM Market Update with MoneyWeb, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 to 7 p.m, as we break down the key market trends, top financial stories, and smart investment insights, all in one place. It's everything you need to stay financially informed and ahead of the curve. Proudly brought to you by Volvo. It's safe to be brave with Volvo.
You are listening to Oliver Dickson on SAFM.
Kitoya, thank you so much for being with us. Really do appreciate it. I'm in conversation this morning with Ntobeko Cele, who's the Vice President for Finance and Business at the National Executive Economic Collective, and we're talking about a green bank. Ntobeko, are there examples around the world of successful iterations of green banks?
Yes, there is, Oliver. For a practical example, I could give an example of Tanzania, where they fostered a massive amount of foreign investment into their economy, growing into a massive industrial boom in their country at this point in time.
Give us some cases of their success stories.
Their success stories at the moment, they are currently constructing cement plants to foster industrial growth in the economy, property, tourism, energy. They are currently building a pipeline that will transport minerals, core minerals in the economy.
Yeah. How would a green bank in South Africa be financed? And capitalized in particular.
To be capitalized in particular. In South Africa, I would say to mainly answer your question, it will be financed and capitalized by private companies, international funding, utilizing the. Sorry, apologies. I think the line.
No, we can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, the line is giving me feedback. Sorry.
No worries, but we can hear you loud and clear. Go for it.
Okay, perfect. To leverage the international climate finance, have a corporate social responsibility involved, and tax incentives for private companies, and for it to be mainly backed by the government.
Do you guys have a sense of just exactly how much capital would be needed as an injection, an initial capitalization to make this viable?
So to answer your question, so this policy that we've put forward in our argument is at its infancy stages. So we don't have a current figure at this point.
And do you have examples from any other green bank around the world about how they were capitalized and what the liquidity levels were?
Not an example at this point in time.
You talk about green bonds as a potential way of capitalizing. And bonds, of course, are a form of a loan and a guarantee on that loan being repaid. How's the green bond market in South Africa moving along? As I know, part of the green bond market includes the trade on carbon tax credits and the like. Talk to us about what's currently happening in the field.
So what's currently that's happening in the field is it's picking up. I'd say it's the reason what fostered our policy brief to come alive in my office. It's coming along very well. I don't have much to add on that at this point in time.
Yeah. And in fact, do you know if commercial banks in South Africa, specifically corporate investment banks in the commercial space, are buying up green bonds? Who are they buying it up from, and are they seeing a return on it?
I specifically say I specifically say mainly most of your conventional banks at this point in time. They are buying up small amounts of green bonds, but not particularly a lot to catch the eye.
Yeah, part of what has been the barrier for a lot of green energy projects, and maybe this is where youth-led businesses suffer a great disservice, is the runway that you need before you even see a cent of profit. Sometimes is as long as 15 to 20 years. It's a very long runway, and that means you must have a lot of liquidity, but you must have a lot of collateral to be able to fund that liquidity, right? And oftentimes youth-led businesses don't have that, and early stage investments for all businesses in South Africa are few and far between. Talk to me about what are some of the ways in which the excessive length to which profit can be achieved, how that can be mitigated against.
So there's one of the points that we had pointed out on our policy brief is that essentially to assist in those long-term low return terms and contracts with a sort of funding model like this would be to offer a special and basically a special provision for that specifically, and to dedicate basically funding windows to ensure that there are points in that long term where the greenback would see a return. So there would be funding windows and stages of funding.
That's fascinating. Let's talk about carbon revenue, carbon tax trading. That is a fascinating part of the economy right now. In fact, where youth businesses seem to have demonstrated a great deal of innovation is in utilizing things like, very specifically, cryptocurrencies to be able to trade carbon taxes in real time, but also to keep track of the utilization of those carbon taxes. Talk to me about that as a financial instrument in financing green energy projects.
I won't be able to talk specifically on the carbon aspect, but could you please repeat your question just one more time again, please?
I'm curious about whether or not you've been seeing activity in the market around how carbon tax trading has been used to finance projects, particularly amongst youth-led startups.
So basically, from my research and what we have gathered as a team is that it's obviously to mitigate the effects of carbon. Just to give a practical example, in the cement space, some companies overseas and here currently are using byproducts to lessen the production of carbon and CO2 emissions in the production of cement. So they utilize byproducts from steel slag or fly ash from burning coal. So it's just an aspect to mitigate the carbon production.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to leave it there. And Ntobeko, thank you so much for your time, and I really do appreciate it. And all the best with getting voices to support this policy document. I think there certainly is a need for a green bank, and I think the market is ripe and ready.
Thank you.
That is Ntobeko Cele, who's the Vice President for Finance and Business at the National Executive Economic Collective. And let's take a short break.
Hi, I'm Khomotso KG Mweketi, and I believe in music's ability to connect, to heal, to remind, and to bring joy. And each week on my Saturday and Sunday show Seasons right here on SAFM, I endeavor to do just that. So join the movement of Seasons every Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's addictive. You might invite a friend. Seasons, only on SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide with me, KG Mweketi.
#SAFM Talking Point.
If you've been following me on social media, you will know that I had a really terrible confession to make recently about my cooking skills. I woke up craving last week sometime, terribly craving pap and chicken stew. It was one of those cold days, and I make a really great chicken stew. I think I'm great at it. But no matter how many times I've practiced, no matter how many times I've been taught, I simply just can't make pap. I struggle. And so I went on my Instagram and I bemoaned about it last week. So if you follow me on Instagram, you'd have known about it. And I said, guys, I'm struggling with the pap. I'm going to attempt. It was late into the evening. I typically, when I crave pap, I buy pap from the shop. If you go to the deli at like Spar, Pick and Pay, you can buy ready-made pap. Like, you don't actually have to do it yourself. So I typically buy ready-made pap. It's relatively cheap. It's like 20 Rand a large portion serving, and there you go. Problem solved, right? Except this was late into the evening. I couldn't buy pap anyway, and I really wanted to have pap with my chicken stew. And so I attempted. And I, to the bemusement of a lot of my Instagram followers, this pap just didn't work out. But I realized something in it. South Africans have very different ways of making and preferring their pap depending on where they come from geographically in the country. And I realized that we have different ways of going about it, and I'm curious about why that is the case. I certainly think there's a right way to make it, and many people certainly make it the wrong way. At this point, I want to look to the people of Limpopo. For some reason, people of Limpopo don't salt their pap. They boil the water and they add the maize. They just skip right past the point of salting their pap. And then when I inquired about it, it seems like something that's only done mostly in Gauteng and coastal provinces, the Northern Cape and KwaZulu-Natal. But then I also realized people in KwaZulu-Natal prefer really stiff pap, like really, really stiff, like pap so hard that if you let it rest overnight, you could use it as a rock the next day. For some reason, it's really, really stiff. It's not the type of pap you'd want to have at a braai. It's not going to go well with your meat, and it feels like you have to do quite a bit of chewing. So I appreciate the texture of the pap that people from Limpopo and up north prefer, right, which is often very soft. Not quite like porridge, but soft enough to not feel like it's heavy on your gums when you start chewing it. But I just don't like the fact that they don't salt their pap. And then people in KZN just really like hard pap. People in the Eastern Cape are just undecisive about pap. I don't know what it is about Xhosa people and not liking pap, but Xhosa people have real beef with pap. In fact, if you go to a braai hosted by Xhosa people, they will rather serve you garlic bread for some reason than serve you pap. Which I think is absolutely weird. I think they need to have a meeting with each other and figure out why it is that they hate pap. But to the extent those that do like and prefer pap, they prefer the pap to be a little bit disintegrated. I don't know how to describe it. Kind of stiff, but not in the rock form that people from KZN prefer it. In Afrikaans, we call it, it's a different variation of frummel pap. So it's not yet putu per se, but it approximates towards putu pap, right? And then, of course, everybody in the country, if you're going to be having amasi with your putu pap, there's a big debate about whether or not you add sugar to that. And so I'm curious about you. Is there a way you hate pap to be made? And would you turn down a dinner offer in someone's house if they cooked up and you simply just don't like the method they use. And if you invite me to your house and you don't salt your pap, I'm sorry, I'm going to turn it down. Give me a call, 086 000 2032. Let me know how you cook your pap. Perhaps I might be able to learn a thing or two from you. 086 000 2032. Give me a call. You can also send me a WhatsApp voice notes on 0614 104 107. We're also going to be taking some of your earlier voice notes on the other side of this that we weren't able to get to in the first hour. It's 11:30. Let's take your latest news headlines.
Oliver, I'm Xhosa and I don't like pap. I rather have braai with garlic bread. On the news headlines, City of Tshwane Executive Mayor Dr. Nasiphi Moya says the city's operation to reclaim hijacked and uninhabitable buildings forms part of preparations for the upcoming investment summit in July, where the city will implore developers to invest in an affordable and low-cost housing. Two Eastern Cape healthcare workers have been shot dead in Lusikisiki last night. According to reports, the couple was stationed at St. Elizabeth Hospital, and Deputy President Paul Mashatile has assured the business community in France that South Africa is willing to increase trade between the two countries. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
Do you want an experience of a lifetime? Where every day is filled with challenges of providing Lisa Vanderpump curated experiences while dealing with rivalries, romances, and misadventures. It's drama at Vanderpump's French Estate. Chantel Rosabelle and the staff can't wait to give you a front row seat to all the drama. Catch Vanderpump Villa, Saturdays on S3 at 8:30 p.m. S3 open up.
The boys of Ladu Davids are searching for 2 early goals to get back to the game in Zanzibar. But their Moroccan visitors want to finish off what they started in Pikani. Wekundu Wamsimbazi battles it out with the Orange Boys. This is the second leg final contest of the Total Energies CAF Confederation Cup. Do not miss out on the spectacular clash of African football. Simba Sports Club versus RSP Pikani FC. This Sunday, 25 May at 2:30 p.m. Streaming live on SABC Plus and SABC One. Also available on SABC radio stations. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
I'm Michelle Constant. Join the JSB crew and I every Saturday and Sunday morning between 7 and 10 a.m. We promise to keep you informed and entertained with innovation, culture, cars, travel, life learnings, environment, and of course, your big fat juicy. Small stories, big ideas, massive inspiration. The Jet Set Breakfast on SAFM.
You are listening to Oliver Dickson on SAFM.
Give me a call. How do you make your pap? 086 000 2032. 086 000 2032. Just know if Ondela invites me to a braai, that's one place I'll not be going. It just doesn't make sense to be having garlic bread at a braai in South Africa. Come on. Let's go to the lines. Rich in Durban. Rich, good morning.
Hi, Oliver. Yes. No, man, all the variations you've mentioned, at least the people, me and the people in my circle, we enjoy all of them. It depends on what it is. If it's a braai, it's a soft one. If it's amasi, it's a harder one.
So you prefer hard pap with your amasi and not putu?
Okay, putu. Sorry, yeah, putu.
Okay, so you prefer putu with your amasi and not the hard one?
Putu is a hard one. It's a dry one that's more on. Not like rock.
Yeah, it's not like rock.
Yes. But also in braais, pap, like proper pap, like you say, it can be salted or unsalted. Some people here in KZN, the one I've been, some people like to salt it. Some families salt their pap, some don't. It doesn't matter. Yeah, so it's basically, when you mentioned this, I was amazed because the people at least I know, we do different variations.
Yeah. Look, at least you like all variations. I am not as generous about that. Rich in Durban, thanks a lot, man. But do you make your own pap, Rich? Or you?
Yeah, I do.
You do? Okay. Fascinating. Thanks a lot for that. Appreciate it. I got a tweet here from NJ Uhuru Mapapu on Twitter. And she says, Empondweni in the Eastern Cape, we love stiff pap, soft porridge, and umpokoko with amasi and no sugar. We hardly eat stiff pap with braai, but rather with stew and ulusu, tripe, of course. That's fascinating that someone from the Eastern Cape is open to all variations of pap, because Eastern Cape people really have beef with pap. You could hear from Ondela there. Muntu, out in Gqeberha. Good morning.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Go for it.
Yes, I like my pap with spinach and garlic.
Really? Garlic? That's fascinating.
Yeah. Gonna try it, man. I don't know how to make it.
And what spinach do you prefer? Do you prefer wild spinach, morojo? I don't know what you call it in Gqeberha.
Like normal spinach we buy from the store.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just lightly salted, some garlic, and you prefer it with your pap just like that. No meat.
Preferably with dry meat.
Okay. Yeah. And do you cook your own pap?
No, my wife makes it. I don't know how to do it.
You also don't know how to cook pap. You know, unfortunately, I don't have a wife. So I am left to cooking my own pap. Muntu.
You must come to the Eastern Cape, you'll get a wife, man.
Muntu, thank you so much for your call. Sure. Go for it. Yeah, Muntu? Oh, we lost Muntu there. My apologies. Mlaudzi in Limpopo. Henda.
Hey, Papa.
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Good, man. Yeah, hey, this topic of pap, it makes me laugh, man, because I make my pap all the time, you know.
You make your own pap?
Yeah, but look, I mean, I'm not talking for the whole province, but for myself, I like it plain. Like, we don't add these things like salt and other things.
That's my problem.
So
it's
we
tasteless.
Boil water. No, it's not.
No, it's tasteless, Mlaudzi. Come on.
Look, when I first came to Jozi back in the day, I lived at some back room at some area. So there was another old lady. She used to cook for us, but she was like from Lesotho. So they added salt. I couldn't swallow that pap. You know that I could not. I mean, that salt, it was just so horrible in the pap. I've never eaten a pap like that. So it's plain like that. I like it like that. But funny enough, my wife, she's a Zulu. She doesn't know how to cook this stiff pap. So she does the thing called putu, which I never liked before.
You don't like?
I didn't like before, but now I'm going for it. So we kind of alternating. So if I cook the normal stiff pap that I know from Limpopo, plain with no salt or anything, just boiled water.
Where in Limpopo are you from, Mlaudzi?
I'm actually in Samahansi in Mokopane.
In Mokopane. Okay.
Yeah, I used to stay in Venda in Chevolani, but I moved into Mokopane at Samahansi. So then my wife does the putu, it's like a rough sort of pap. So I'm so used to it now.
Yeah.
She cooks that because she can't cook stiff pap. I can't cook putu. I cook my original stiff pap.
Yeah. When I was in university, I had a vendor girlfriend from Tate out in Limpopo, and she didn't salt the pap, and I was like, that's the last time I'll eat pap ever made by you. The idea to not salt your pap is mind blowing to me. It's tasteless.
But how much salt do you have to put in a pap? Do you have to taste it?
I mean, it depends on how much pap you're making, but a pinch of salt just to taste it, right? I mean, just to add actual taste to it.
I can't swallow that, but I tried it before, but I couldn't go down there. I'm sure if it goes down, it'll come back quickly.
Yeah. Mlaudzi, thanks, man. Appreciate your call. 086 000 2032 086 000 2032. Let's have a listen at this WhatsApp voice note.
My brother, I don't want to lie to you, ne? I do enjoy pap and, your stew, whatever stew, whether chicken or beef or lamb or whatever. But give me pap and eggs anytime, my brother, with a little bit of tomato sauce or mayonnaise.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
Yes.
Romeo from Potchefstroom.
No, Romeo, I agree with you on that. Oh, I agree 100%.
Hi there, Lunga, Western Cape. Just regarding the putu pap situation, I think some of us growing up, depending on circumstances, associated that as a staple, something that you had to eat because of an economic situation at home. A staple diet due to circumstances. And if you are lucky enough to be out of those circumstances and you have people over, I doubt you are serving, pap or putu. Me personally, I miss umpokoto, but at the same time, I haven't taken the time to learn how to cook it. I know that it's simple to cook, but I'm not bothered. I had enough of it as a kid. Anyway, awesome show. Cheers.
Do you know who fascinatingly I used to eat a lot of umpokoto by? My white Afrikaans friends when I was in school. And if you go to a braai by a white person, it's vrummelpap all the time. That's how they serve their braai meat. It's the way they prefer it. I always found that fascinating. I preferred it a little bit stiffer and more dense if it's for a braai purpose.
Good day, Oliver and the listeners. I'm Xhosa, but I like pap. I can have it with the braai, with sakalaka, but it mustn't be watery. It mustn't be the hard rock. I like the soft one. I enjoy that one very much. Thank you.
It's only men telling us their preference for pap, eh? I bet you half of them can't make pap. I promise you half of the people who called into the show so far can't make pap. Kunzi in Pietermaritzburg, can you make pap?
But in terms of photo, I'm number one. Yeah, Oliver, even within provinces, I think geographical areas matter as well.
Yeah.
You find that in the north, up here in KZN, they make a particular type of pap as compared to the south, Kokstad, Desans, So it depends even where you are. But, I'm not a pap person per se. I like Uputu more than pap.
And how do you prefer to have it with Amas?
I have it with the Amas. I have it even with the braai. Yeah. If I have friends, fortunately, my friends like Uputu.
You see, the thing about Putu with braai is that when I'm at a braai, I prefer to use my hands, right? You eat with your hands. I don't want to use cutlery or utensils. And you can't really enjoy Putu with your hands.
You can, sir. You just put it on the istabeless, and then you just boom by the put and fold it within your hands, and then you just, that's how it works. You do it even with your hands as well.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I don't like about pap is that you have to finish it same day or same night.
No, you don't. I had pap. I ate from the serving of pap that I bought for like 2 days.
But maybe it's because the way we cook it here, it's a bit stiff. The next day, it's going to be hard as a rock.
Yeah.
You can't even warm it up, because when you warm it up, then it disintegrates, and it's just too much.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your call. I appreciate it. Kunzi calling us from Pietermaritzburg. Let's have a listen at this.
Oliver, it's Bennett speaking. Oliver, the reason people don't salt their pap is because they believe in all those years that the tokoloshi is coming to eat at night, so this tokoloshi doesn't eat salt, so that's why they were salting pap. That's the reason why pap was being put there. They put salt on the pap.
No, man, come on. Surely that can't be it. Pap is many things are tasteless without salt. Rice is also tasteless without salt. You will never cook samp without a pinch of salt. Why would we do that to pap? Let's go to the lines. Masihambisane. Good evening.
Yes,
good morning, rather. Sorry.
Good morning. How are you?
No, I'm fantastic, Masihambisane. Let's go for it.
Yes, I'm so excited that you raised the issue of the pap. And it's a very serious matter, because I've had discussions with women, and I've said to them, and they've agreed, that the most difficult meal to prepare is pap. You can do a stew, but it depends who are you preparing the pap for. And with pap also, I prefer it salted because I grew up that way. My father preferred it that way. So it depends on, and it's not only the salt issue. It's also when do you add the mealimil after boiling of the water, and how do you do it? Because some of it you just taste and you realize, hey, this is not really simmered well. So pap is a very, very difficult thing. And also another point that I want to add is that on the use of the word pap and putu. in different regions, Putu means something else. In another region,
really?
Yes, because for me, I'm Swazi. Pap is the stiff one. Putu is the one which is crumbled.
Yes.
But I went to Natal, some parts of Natal, not all of it. When I asked for pap just to buy one ready, they gave me the crumbled one. Then they told me, no. The crumbled one to us, that's the pap. The one that is solid is putu. So the word of the use putu and pap is different for different people. Yes.
Fascinating.
But otherwise,
I never actually knew that. That's fascinating. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Okay.
Thabo in the Free State. Thabo, go for it.
Hello, Oliver. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
No, I'm fantastic, Oliver. Let me tell it in this way. I enjoy pop more than everything else.
You know, I have a friend, Mfumo. I have a friend, his name is Mfumo. He enjoys pop so much, he eats it every day. Now, I don't think that's healthy. But I'm pretty sure you don't love pop that much. Or how much actually do you love it?
I'm telling you, I love it even on Sundays. They can cook all their meals on Sundays, but if there's no pop, trust me, I'm not going to enjoy that food.
Are you serious?
I'm telling you.
So you could eat pop every day and you'll be fine?
I cook every day. And you see, on my line of duty, like the past caller just said, there's different meanings and different ways to eat this pap thing. Where I'm from, the putu one, we eat it with milk. But in Dickson, they eat it with normal, maybe with meat and other things. In where I'm from, you don't eat that with milk icon. Icon, we only eat it with milk.
Yeah.
And for the salt part, icon, I only started eating pap that doesn't have salt when I started going to Joburg as a truck driver. But other than that,
you prefer it salted.
Salt.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Thabo. Appreciate it. Thabo calling us from the Free State.
Hi, Oliver. Oliver, you know, the other day I was in KZ and in Pangeni, to be precise, Richards Bay. I ate a very different pap. They put all these kind of veggies in the pap. Like they cooked it with carrots, potato, onions, and cabbage, if I'm not mistaken. But there were vegetables already included in the pap. It was the kind of pap that I'd never eaten in my life, and I want to go back to Mpangeni soon. I'm basically Mtswana from the northwest, you know.
Look, if your pap went to private school, don't invite me.
Hello, brother Oliver. I'm Shona, and speaking on behalf of all Zimbabweans, Ndeveles, and Shonas, vendors, whatever. No salting in the pap. No salt in pap. It's Libya and Jimsy.
You see, that's also why I don't eat sadza, because why is there no salt in it? It's tasteless. That brings me to the end of the show. I'm going to go grab some pap from the local spa where I live. It's been fantastic being with you. Thank you so much for your time. I'm back with you tonight at 10 o'clock for Night Talk. Please do join me there. Have a fantastic day from myself and the team. It's goodbye for now. Up next is the book reading, Winning the Money Game by Mlamuli Mbambo, narrated by Samson Kumalo.
He's short, loud, and definitely not a licensed therapist, but he's asking the hard questions. It's Heart to Heart with Kevin, the only talk show where the guests spill the tea and Kevin spills the jokes. Real talk, real laughs, and real short host. Heart to Heart with Kevin, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. on S3.
This May, SAFM celebrates Africa Month with you as we honor the legacy of the Organization of African Unity. We bring you rich conversations and the vibrant sounds of Africa. Music that moves the soul. This is SAFM. SAFM has signed a code of conduct that is enforced by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. Under the code, we are committed to giving news that is accurate, comment that is fair, and programming that is not harmful, does not amount to hate speech, or contain violence or explicit sex. If you think we are not living up to that code, then you can inform the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. Direct any complaints in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. PO Box 142365, Craig Hall 2024. Fax to 011-326-3198 or an email to bccsa@nabsa.co.za. For more information, please visit www.bccsa.co.za.
The book reading. Please note that the views expressed in this book are not that of the station. Listeners' discretion is advised. SAFM presents another episode of the book Winning the Money Game, a guide to financial well-being by Mlamuli Mbambo, read by Samson Kumalo.
Do you have any pictures of that car, Mkhulu? Yes, I do. I will show them to you another time, but for now, let me continue with my story. Later that evening, my beautiful wife came out looking ever so lovely as she was dressed in her best outfit. Bottle green dress that glowed and looked like it was made and designed just for her. I opened the door for her, and as she went inside, she gave me an enchanting look of pride. When we arrived at the community hall, we were a bit late, so the event had already started and they had closed the inside parking. Drove towards the inside parking because I had to make a turn there. As I was about to start turning, a young man came running to me and said that I must park inside. He said that such a lovely car should not be outside. I thanked him, and as I drove in, I could hear people whispering about my car. It felt great. I knew that I had become a somebody in my community. My wife and I walked into the hall and enjoyed a splendid night of music and dancing. We were quite the dancers in our time, and that night I could have danced forever. We returned home in the early hours, and because the car was so comfortable, we fell asleep in our seats. Yeah, right, Mkhulu. You and Gogo were great dancers. We both laughed and Mkhulu continued. The next day was a Sunday and I decided to go show Dlamini my car and thanked him for his mentorship because without his guidance and assistance, I would not have this car. Dlamini spent most of his Sunday afternoon at his popular car wash, which also had a place to braai meat and watch soccer, so it was always packed. When I arrived there, Dlamini was watching a big soccer game between Kaizer Chiefs and Moroka Swallows. I asked him to step outside and see one of the cars in the car wash line. He was shocked to see a luxurious and new Mercedes-Benz. He asked me who the owner of such a car was and what that owner was doing in our township. Took out the keys from my pocket and proudly proclaimed that I was the owner. Dlamini was stunned. Then his face turned into a disappointed look. His first words after the initial shock were, "Why did you do such a thing?" I was dumbfounded because I had expected him to be happy for me. Told him I bought it because the businesses were doing well. I deserved to spoil myself and enjoy my success. Dlamini then said, "You have bought yourself a financial bullet. An expensive luxury car is a liability and can potentially crush your money eggs. I know the price of that car and I know the level of your businesses. You're not yet in a position to buy that car, especially if you bought it brand new. To think of all the money that you used to purchase that car could have been used to start other businesses. But now you have to hope your businesses keep doing well so that they can pay off this car." But Dlamini, You have an expensive and luxurious BMW as well, I said in disappointment and hurt. Yes, I do, but I've been in business much longer than you have. There's nothing wrong with having a luxury car. The issue is about the affordability of the car and how you bought it. When I bought my luxury car, I did not go to the dealership sales floor. I went to car auctions where cars go for a discount. Every month, many cars are repossessed. These cars go on auction and are sold at a discount. There are various types of cars. Some are luxurious, some are of a normal standard, and some are workhorses like my old van. The price difference between a brand new car and a car in an auction can be substantial. Sometimes in auctions, you can find cars that are at a bargain. Did you know that as soon as you drove out the sales garage, that new car of yours lost about 20% of its value? What I mean is, if you were to take your car back to the dealer you bought it from yesterday, he would probably only give you 80% of what you paid to buy the car. In an auction, I could buy a car and probably sell it for more if I wanted to. Some car dealerships buy cars from an auction and then put them on their sales floor as used cars at an increased price. A car is essentially something to move us from point A to point B. So this does not warrant a car to be such a big financial percentage in your life. I'm sure the purchase of this car skewed your Tupperware budgeting system percentages. I might understand a business person buying a luxury car because, unfortunately, in business, some people judge you by the car you drive. This does not mean that you need to buy a brand new car when there are auctions which offer all types of cars at a discount. There is not much difference between a new luxury car and a low-mileage auctioned luxury car when they are parked at the community hall and people are looking at them. Do you think people will say, Lamine's car is lovely, but he bought it at an auction, so we do not think he has arrived yet? People will not even know that it is bought from an auction. I've seen people in less fancy cars give me a look of envy when I'm driving my luxurious BMW. And I would think to myself, if they only knew that the installments they are paying for their new car could probably buy them a much nicer vehicle in an auction. Sometimes it is not what you buy that matters, but rather how you buy it. If you do not feel comfortable with the auction option, you could buy a used or demo car with low mileage. I'm not against buying a luxury car. As I said, it is all about affordability and the value of what you bought relative to what you paid for it. Lamine's words made me feel like he had pushed my car off a cliff. As I turned to look at it, it seemed different. I looked at it and thought of the price I had paid for it and would still be paying every month. I did not only see the actual price of the car, but also all the assets that I could have created with the money I was spending on that car. There I was, well on my way to financial freedom, and I had put myself in a sensitive financial position. If anything went wrong with any of my businesses, I would not be able to afford the monthly car installments. A few months later, my training business lost 2 taxi associations contracts. Another teacher had offered them the same service at a cheaper price, and that teacher happened to be the son of the chairman of those taxi associations. I could not renegotiate with them. I started having difficulties settling my car installments. The logical thing to do would have been to take the car back and hope I get a good trade-in value for it, especially since I did have another car that I drove on most days. I thought about it a lot, but the car had become an extension and representation of me. What would people say when I no longer had it? The idea of bazothina bantu has made many of us do stupid things. The admiration I had from driving that car made me feel like an important person.
That was another episode of Winning the Money Game, a guide to financial well-being, written by Mlamuli Mbambo, read by Samson Khumalo. The book is available online on www.sabooksonline.co.za. It is broadcast on SAFM at 11:45 Monday to Thursdays on The Talking Point. It is produced for the station by Vovi Patala, read by Samson Khumalo, technical production Wiseman Manqele, Nanda Khoza, and Tato Mapuruma.